My favorite TV show right now is Love Island USA. Feels like everybody on the internet is talking about it right now, or maybe the algorithm is just like perfectly attuned to me. That could be part of it. But I'm watching it, my friends are watching it, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a really long time. I have been wanting to talk about Love Island for so long, but I don't want to just like do a long form ramble video because I could be talking for hours about this show. So I decided that today I am going to recommend viral books to each of the different Love Island contestants for this season. These recommendations, some of them are cheeky, some of them are very serious because I'm like, you need to read this book actually. And some of them are just like, I just think that this person would like this book and I want them to read a book that they would like. A lot of these books I have not read actually because I read very slow. Like, it takes me a long time to complete a book. But I've either heard good things about them, read the reviews and seen good things about them, or people online are really talking about them. And I'm like, I think this person would be really interested in this book based off of the online discussion. So that is where these recommendations are coming from. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I recommended each book to each person and also what I think about the book if I have read it. I also have a little bit of wine that I'm drinking while I film this, so if I seem a little wild, this is why. So we're starting with Pepe, who is the Spaniard who just entered the villa. He's holding himself out to everyone, just like casting a wide net, pretending he's interested in Amaya, pretending he's interested in Sierra. He's not interested in anybody who's browner than a sheet of paper, which is why he was going aggressively after Hannah. And because he's from Spain, and because the tendencies that he has exhibited are very Spanish, no, I will not explain. The two books that I'm recommending for him are The Broken Spears, The Aztec Account of the Conquest of Mexico by Miguel Leon Portilla, and Malintzин's Choices, An Indian Woman in the Conquest of Mexico by Camila Townsend. He seems like he has some things that he needs to learn. Okay. The issue with being a person from a nation that was colonized is that we always have a soft spot for the country that colonized us specifically, or we tend to, not always, I will say. So, like, I have a friend who's Ethiopian, and Italy tried and failed to colonize Ethiopia multiple times. And, like, she's always talking about how her mom loves Italians. Like, her mom was rooting for Italy in the EuroLeague championship. Yeah, that's the soft spot that we have. My family's from Mozambique. My mom has a soft spot for the Portuguese. She always roots for whatever team Cristiano Ronaldo is on. And it's not because of anything except the fact that he is the most popular Portuguese soccer player right now. Is he a horrible person? Yes. We don't have to get into that right now, but it's like the most popular Portuguese player. I have an affinity for the Brazilians. Why? Because we were both colonized by Portugal. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, are you picking up what I'm putting down? I be looking at these other countries and I'm like, look, mother, I know what you are. And I felt exactly the same way when that Spaniard walked in the villa. I said, Pepe? And then he said, I was born in Spain. And I said, I was hoping it would be a Latino, but it's not. And don't argue with me in the comments about whether Spaniards are Latino. Are Spaniards Hispanic? Technically, yes, because of the root of the word Hispanic. Sure, but you're not going to sit here and tell me that a Spaniard is Latino. If a Spaniard is Latino, then I'm Latino. If a Spaniard is Latino, then Haitians are Latino. If a Spaniard is Latino, then Cameroonians are Latino. And I will not fight with you about that. None of this has been about Pepe because he's given me nothing. Basically, I just want him to read these books about the evil that Spain has done and feel bad. Because I would feel bad, but I have empathy. Moving on, we have Iris, who is the new bombshell who has entered the villa. I wasn't really with her at first. I was like, she's not really my like type of person. It felt like going off, and she also is like a tanning. So I don't know. There was something about her that to me personally felt off, but there always seems to be something that feels off about the bombshells. But she seems like a really smart girl who's got a good head on her shoulders. And as the episode progressed, I was like, okay, I'm warming up to her a little bit. For Iris, I'm recommending The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And the reason I'm recommending that is because she seems to me, she gives me like someone who leads with the pretty because the pretty is easy for people to digest, but she's actually a very intellectual person. She's a Libra, and that tends to be the case with them. They're either dumb as a bag of rocks, like nothing going on in the head, or they're highly intellectual and highly intelligent, and there's no in between. I think she's someone who is like, who has kind of like a secret intellect, and I think she would really with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think she'd be interested in all the twists and turns. I think she'd be enjoying the dark academia energy of the book. I think she would like it, and so that's why I'm recommending it to her. If you are new here, my name is Neida, and I put out videos about literally whatever I want to talk about. Very often those are pop culture topics, books, movies, and TV shows that I am interested in. Sometimes there are videos just like this one where I talk about a reality TV show that I am currently obsessed with and recommend books to the people who are starring in it. If any of that interests you, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like my face or anything that I have to say today, please give this video a big thumbs up down below. That really helps me to find other people who might be interested in my content. Next up, we have Jalen. Jalen is my favorite bombshell who has entered the villa so far, and I am recommending him 2 separate books because I think he needs something that's going to stimulate his brain while he's driving those long nights. You know, he owns a big rig. He's driving on big rigs. So the 2 books that I'm recommending to him, the first one is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyemide. Just because I'm African don't mean I know how to say everybody's African name, okay? And I'm sorry that I pronounced it incorrectly. And the second one that I'm recommending him is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. So the summary of Ace of Spades, this is one that I've never read before, but the summary is basically, it says on Goodreads, an incendiary and utterly compelling thriller with a shocking twist that delves into the heart of institutionalized racism from an exceptional new YA voice. Welcome to Nivea's Private Academy, where money paves the hallways and students are never less than perfect, until now, because anonymous texter Aces is bringing 2 students' dark secrets to light. Talented musician Devin buries himself in rehearsals, but he can't escape the spotlight when his private photos go public. Head girl Chiamaka isn't afraid to get what she wants, but soon everyone will know the price she has paid for power. Someone is out to get them both. Someone holds the aces, and they're planning much more than a high school game. Jalen seems like he loves Black people, and he loves being Black. And I feel like him reading, the other one is Legendborn, and Legendborn is basically, I've read Legendborn. I read the first one, the second one, a little mid, but I still enjoyed it. Like I said, I think I listened to the audiobook for Legendborn, and I think that would be a perfect audiobook for him to listen to on his long haul truck rides that he is doing in his big rig. So next up we have Taylor. Taylor, I am recommending The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is a book about 2 sisters who could both pass for white because they come from a community in Louisiana where that is like, has been worked towards for centuries. And one of them ends up moving to California, basically just fucking off and deciding that she's going to be white, while the other one stays behind in their hometown. She like briefly lives in DC, marries a dark-skinned man, that doesn't end up working out, and then moves back to their hometown and raises her dark-skinned child while her twin sister is raising her white child in the white world out in California. I think he could learn some things about colorism, learn some things about the history of Black America, learn some things about how being light-skinned isn't all that fun, learn some things about the Southern United States. I think Taylor could stand to learn a lot. And I read The Vanishing Half. It is pretty digestible, I would say, in terms of a book. There's a lot of like different metaphors about passing. There's a lot of information about like Black American history in the United States. And I think there's some stuff in there that Taylor could stand to interact with at some point in his life. I'm saying that because he claimed that he said that he's not attracted to Alandria, the baddest bitch in the villa. White supremacy really did a number on you if you can look at that woman and not be attracted to her. But I will digress. For Nick, we have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I don't know, there's just something about him that gives closeted bisexual. Like, he used to make out with his friends as like a joke in middle and high school, and they only stopped because it was like they were like too old. I don't know, I see something there. I'm not trying to out him if that's his tea. I don't want to put it out there, but I'm just giving my opinion. The Song of Achilles is about, it's like written from the perspective of Patroclus, who is Achilles' close friend. Achilles, the ancient warrior from the Trojan War. And it basically chronicles Patroclus' life from when he's born through to when he passes away during the Trojan War. And his death is what instigates Achilles to rejoin the war effort, because he's been like throwing a tantrum for years. Kind of like it kind of recasts the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus as like a homosexual monogamous relationship. I just want to see if something happens for him when he reads that. That's me personally. I just want to watch him closely while he's reading it and go, what's going on? What you thinking, Nick? What are you thinking, Nick? But that's me. For his current partner in the house, Sierra, I have 2 book recommendations. Either Flirting Lessons by Jasmine Guillory, which is a WLW sapphic contemporary romance novel about a woman who is taking flirting lessons with a woman who has been a part of a bet that she like can't go the whole summer without sleeping with someone. So inevitably hijinks ensue and they fall in love. Or Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. 2 WLW books. One of them is contemporary lit fic. The other one is contemporary romance. It depends. Sierra is another person who gives me kind of like an intellectual vibe. Like she's like likes to read. Unlike some of the other people in this cast, they don't really give me the vibe that they like to read. So it depends on like what mood she's in, whether she wants to do the like romance, like lighthearted romance, or the deeper thinking, like more complicated lit fic. Fingersmith is about a young woman named Susan Trinder, who I'll just give you the like general synopsis because I'm reading it right now, but I know that there's a bunch of twists in it. It's the movie The Handmaiden is based off of this novel, Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. Susan Trinder she's like living in this house where in London in the 1860s where people often sell things that they have stolen. And her foster parents, Mrs. Suxby and Mr. Ibbs, commission her out to this man that they know by the name Gentleman to work as the maid for a wealthy woman in like a nearby county. The basic premise to Susan is that she will go masquerade as this woman's maid because the woman needs like a supervisor because Gentleman is teaching her how to do art. She's going to masquerade as this woman's maid while also allowing the woman to fall in love with Gentleman so that Gentleman can marry her, take her fortune, and then lock her up in an asylum. He's going to get £15,000. He's agreeing to give her £3,000, and she's going to give some of it to Mrs. Suxby and Mr. Ibbs and keep some of it for herself, and it's going to be an amazing con. Hijinks ensue, and she does end up falling in love with the girl who is their mark, and her name is Maud. There's no particular reason that I want Sierra to read these sapphic. No, I'm kidding. She was so determined to kiss Shelly that I'm like, once again, it's giving closeted bisexual. Her and Nick are giving lavender marriage. And I just want to see if this book unlocks something for her. I'm like, girl, read this. Let me know what you think. That's what the vibes are with Flirting Lessons and Fingersmith for Sierra. Okay, so next up we have Beldasha, who I am giving Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. So this is a book about basically like a white woman who decides that she's going to impersonate an Asian author who passed away in the process of writing a novel, and she like takes the author's novel, sells it as her own, impersonates her, and the like effects of cultural appropriation, literally, and cultural impersonation, which happens a lot more than you would expect in the bookish community. If you watch with Cindy's channel, like, you know, it happens a lot in the bookish community. But Beldasha kind of became famous this season for her black scent. And I just want her to understand that, like, cultural appropriation can and does have real material effects on the world. That being said, she did date a black man for however many years. That's not like an excuse, but it's like when black men date outside their race, they kind of, and this is me painting with a broad brush, they kind of tend to date women who are more malleable to picking up their lingo and their terminology and like cosplaying or masquerading, you could say. That's gonna be my recommendation for Beldasha. I'm recommending her Yellow Face, and I think she would read it, and I think she would enjoy it, and I think she would be like, she's probably looking at the comments online right now and going, oh yeah, Black Scent was kind of ridiculous, let me stop. So next up for book recommendations, we have Charlie, and I am recommending him The Little Black Book of the Populist Right. A little birdie told me that Charlie is a Trump supporter, which don't make no sense because he's from the UK, or he like followed Trump, something Trump related with Charlie. I don't care. You're not getting fun reading. Like, this is a summer reading challenge, and you're not getting fun reading. You're going to read this book about how right wing populism has destroyed the world for decades, if not centuries, and you're going to like it because you have some lessons that you need to learn. I was almost on Charlie's side. I almost fucked with him. I looked at him. He's got a pretty face. Like, he is a handsome person, in my opinion. And I was like, why don't I? But then none of the girls were interested in him. And that gave me the ick. Like, that's kind of like a weird thing about like human beings. You want the person that other people want. And so when none of the other girls wanted him, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, what's going on? It's almost like a confirmation bias. You start to think, well, there must be something wrong with him if nobody else is interested in him. But then he started seeing Hannah, and Hannah allegedly is not a Trumper. So, like, if you're going to deserve her, you need to step up and learn some things. And the first thing that you need to learn is that these right wing freaks are not good people, and you shouldn't be voting for them, you fucking loser. So that's why I'm giving him that, because if he's a Trump supporter, he would probably vote for Nigel Farage, and Nigel Farage, the things I could say about him are illegal, so I'm not going to say them. After Charlie, I'm going to choose Olandria, and for Olandria, the books that I am recommending for Olandria are This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan or The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. I think because Olandria's like romance in this house has been so lackluster. It's been so sad. Like, she told Taylor that she kissed another guy and he high-fived her. He pisses me off. Genuinely, he pisses me off. But I think she deserves like a good Black woman centered romance novel. And This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan really delivers that. This is one of the ones that I've never read before, but I'm going to read the synopsis for you. Soledad Barnes has her life all planned out because of course she does. She plans everything. She designs everything. She fixes everything. She's a domestic goddess who's never met a party she couldn't host or a charge she couldn't lead. The one with all the answers and the perfect vinaigrette for the summer salad. But none of her varied talents can save her when catastrophe strikes. The life she's built with a man who is supposed to be here forever goes poof in a cloud of betrayal and disillusion. But there's no time to pout or sulk, or even grieve the life she lost. She's too busy keeping a roof over her daughter's heads and food on the table, and in the process of saving them all, Soledad rediscovers herself. From the ashes of a life burned to the ground, something bold and new can arise. When an unlikely man enters the picture, the forbidden one, the one she shouldn't want but can't seem to resist, she's lost it all before and refuses to repeat her mistakes. Can she trust him? Can she trust herself? After all she's lost and found, can she be brave enough to make room for what could be? This to me sounds like it's going to be spicy. It sounds like it's going to be fun. And it sounds like it's going to be about a Black woman getting loved on, which I think is what Olandria needs, as like after being looked at by the human noodle that is Taylor. The other recommendation that I had is one that I've read, which is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is a kind of like a fake dating book. This guy is in an elevator with this hot girl, and he asks her if she could be his wedding date because his ex is getting married, and she's like, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. So they end up going to the wedding, and like hijinks ensue. The fake dating, like they fall in love, whatever. This is a swirl romance. Okay, now stay with me. I'm not trying to be a swirl propagandist here, but the Nick Olandria shippers, this is a ship between Nick and Olandria on Love Island. People really want to make it happen. They're getting to me. It's giving crack ship because Nick's type is very much like Beldasha, Iris. Cierra is kind of outside of his type, but I really don't know if he's serious with Cierra. Like, I think I honestly think they're just passing time with each other. He likes white women and he likes blonde. But if he could get it together to get together with Olandria, I think that could be sexy. And I think that could be interesting. I would be really interested to see that happen. I don't know, I'm just intrigued. And this is the one instance where real person shipping feels good. because it's Love Island. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me give her this swirl book and see what she thinks about the swirl, or if she's blacks only, because I respect that too. I respect that a lot, mama. Moving on, we have Shelly, who's my other favorite in the house. Shelly and Olandria were the first two to walk in, and literally when they walked in, I said, damn. Like, I was looking at them, I was like, those are two sexy ass fucking women. So for Shelly, she is bisexual, she's Haitian, she knows herself, she seems to really love herself. I have recommended Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This is another person who to me seems very like intellectual. This is a book about two best friends, Bobby and Francis. They are like partners in a slam poetry team in Dublin, Ireland. I'm pretty sure it was written in 2015 and 16, so it's like, yeah, slam poetry was really big then. And Francis writes all the poems, but Bobby is really good at performing them, and they used to date, but they've just broken up. When they're at one of their shows and they meet an actor and his wife, who's I think equally as famous as him. Think of like if like they met like Gwyneth Paltrow and Glenn Powell. Like those are the calibers that they're on. And imagine Gwyneth Paltrow and Glenn Powell are the same age and married. They meet them at one of their shows. They like strike up a friendship with them, and then Francis ends up starting to sleep with the Glenn Powell husband of the couple. It's messy. It's bisexual. It's about young women finding themselves, figuring out who they are and how they feel and how they want to assert themselves in the world. And it's one of the only books that I feel like accurately represents like what it's like to have endometriosis and like fucking horrible periods. This book is so fucking messy, but it's so good. This is my personal favorite Sally Rooney book. I really enjoy Normal People, but Conversations with Friends is my fave. I've never read Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I have yet to finish Intermezzo. So it's my favorite between like two, but like still my favorite. And I think Shelly would really enjoy it. Like it feels like real bisexual representation. It's like, you know, sometimes you have your ebbs and your flows with the different types of people that you're interested in and attracted to. And Francis kind of just like trips and falls into this relationship with this older actor. So I think Shelly would really fuck with this book. Next up, we have a person who's only relevant because he's currently partnered with Shelly, Austin. And for Austin, I'm recommending Strong Men from Mussolini to Present. This is another man who is an alleged Trump supporter, and I just think you need to read some books. Austin seems like he's like, I don't buy into the stereotype that all Trump supporters are stupid, because we see that Austin is not stupid. Like, he's thinking, he's processing, like, he has a lot of very level-headed opinions about everything that's going on in the villa. He's not a dumbass. He's just a Trump supporter. This is a book that's about like how strong men have kind of ruined Western civilization, and it chronicles them from Mussolini to present. So again, this is a book that I haven't read, but I'm assuming that it involves like a chapter all about Trump. But I think going from the past examples to present examples, it really shows like how dangerous and damaging this type of person is. And you can kind of like associate the strong men of the past, who everybody hates, with the strong men of the present, and start to like understand and put together like, oh, these are all people who live on a continuum with one another. They're not people who are separate. So yeah, again, he doesn't get a fun book. Sit down and read this, and I will be asking you questions, and there will be a test at the end. No, I have not read the book, but I can gather, because I'm not a fucking dumbass, and I didn't vote for Trump, okay? We have Amaya. Amaya, this, and I promise you this is not shade, because I do understand why people like this book series. I am recommending her the A Court of Thorns and Roses book series. I think she would love it. I think she would have an amazing time reading these books, and I think she would fly through them. I think one of my friends was like, she'd probably get a Tamlin tattoo at the end of the first book and then switch it to a Reese tattoo when she reads the second book, and I absolutely agree. I have always, and I will always die on the hill, that I understand why these books are popular. I just think they're horribly written, and Sarah J. Maas is my personal enemy. Fucking hate her. I think Amaya would really fuck with the way that like the love story develops over the course of the 5 books in the series, I think she would stand Cassian down. I think she would love, I think she would love like all the smutty scenes and the love scenes and the fairy stuff. Like, I just think she would really enjoy it. I'd be surprised if she hasn't already read it. And if she hasn't, this is a book recommendation for you, girl. I think you would really like it. I wish the storytelling was better because the ideas are there. And that's the thing that I will always give Sarah. The ideas are there. A lot of the characters and a lot of the ideas are great and make a lot of sense and are actually really exciting. It's the way that she executes them that I'm like, I'm gonna move on to Hannah. Hannah is one of the bombshells who entered the villa. She was coupled up with Charlie, and then Pepe kind of like swooped in and was like, I want you. She was like struggling between the two of them. For her, I am going to recommend The Silent Patient. This is a love triangle book. You'll find out where the love triangle gets in, no spoilers, but this is a book about a psychiatrist who is kind of trying to study or like understand this woman who murdered her husband a few years prior to the book's start, who after she murders her husband, she is put into a mental facility because she just goes mute. Like, she stops talking completely. And like, he's trying to figure out, did she actually do this, or was she framed? Was there another person who was involved? Like, what is going on with this person? Hannah has mentioned that she's studying to be a doctor, so I think this would be an interesting book to study in terms of like bedside manner and like different psychiatric issues that people can have. Like, it's the whole thing is set in a psychiatric hospital. And Hannah also gives me ADHD vibes, and this is a book that I listen to. I have ADHD. I listened to the audiobook in like 1 or 2 days, and I was in. Like, it was a thriller, quite literally. It was thrilling me. It kept me going. I think Hannah would enjoy it. So we're on to our last 3 people, some of the most polarizing people in the house. I'm going to start with Ace. So I was toying around with giving him the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins, almost a joke, because he is really bothered by Huda and Jeremiah. Like, they piss him off in a way that, to me personally, I'm like, girl, relax. Like, it's not that serious. You're not a part. Like, there's something about Huda and Jeremiah and the fact that they have been coupled up since the beginning, and the fact that they're not really exploring other connections. He's always calling them fake. He's always saying like he just doesn't buy it. Like, he's always making like subtle, not subtle jabs at them, and I'm like, what's going on, girl? Like, what's happening? So I was gonna recommend Let Them theory almost as a way to say, like, let them. Like, stop worrying so much about what other people are doing. Worry about yourself, because my God, does he have some things to worry about. But then for Ace's book recommendation, I settled on Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. So I'm recommending Ace Lolita. It seems weird, but stay with me. I'm recommending him Lolita because this is a book where you really have to kind of force yourself to get into the perspective of the antagonist. The book is about a man named Humbert who grooms a young, he's not even successfully grooming her, like, she hates him, but he is like obsessed with this young woman named Lolita. He marries her mom so that he can be closer to her. The mom dies, so he has custody of her, and he's a pedophile and he's a freak and he's ruining this little girl's life. But the way that the book is written and the way that you read the book forces you to, because it's in first person perspective, understand him and where he's coming from. You might not agree with him, you might not believe him, you might not be like, oh yeah, the things that he's saying are right, but he's explaining exactly why he's doing the things that he's doing and how he got the way. You have to remember that this man is an anti-hero, not in the sense that there's anything about him to be valorized, but in the sense that he is the lens through which the novel is being told, while also being a deplorable person who is unforgivable and unrepentant in his unforgivability. I think this would be a good book for Ace because it requires a lot of self-reflection, which I think is what Ace is missing. Praying. It would force him to really think about the ways that he weaponizes therapy speak and weaponizes boundaries and justifications in order to get people to do things and act in ways that he wants them to, even though those actions are not in those people's best interests. And it would force him to self-reflect in a way, I would hope, which is why I'm recommending Ace Lolita. So my last 2 people are, of course, Huda and Jeremiah. We're going to go with Jeremiah first. I have 2 books for him. I Love Dick by Chris Krause, I think, and Misery by Stephen King. These are both books about what happens when there are women who are obsessed with you. One is a horror novel, one is a horror novel in its own way, but kind of like weird 90s post genre, postmodern fiction. I Love Dick is basically like a woman who's obsessed with this like cultural critic. It's like a semi memoir, semi fiction book about this woman who's obsessed with this real man, like a real man, a cultural critic in New York in the 90s, and her like imagining herself in all these scenarios with him and like all these other people who are famous in New York. The man who the book was written about has said that he feels like it's a violation of his privacy, which is why I think it's kind of weird, but it's a feminist classic. I don't know. Third wave feminism was really, really weird. And then Misery, the Stephen King classic about the author who has an accident and is taken in by a woman who's a huge fan of his work, and he finds out that she's more than a fan. She's crazed, absolutely crazed. I just think that Jeremiah, honestly, both of these like recommendations for him, in my opinion, are funny. I just think it's funny for him to read books about what happens when women are obsessed with you. But I think really he should read something by Bell Hooks. Like he should probably read All About Love or that book that she has about like toxic masculinity, because he needs like genuinely, I think he like needs a reality check and he needs to like come back to earth with the rest of us, because like, baby, you're not winning. As long as you're with Huda, you're not winning, because we can tell that you don't like her no more, and we can tell that y'all are incompatible. Like there's something about the two of them together that just does not work the way that they think it's working. And it's also clear that he's annoyed with her and he does not like her as much as he did. First of all, it doesn't seem like he likes her as much as he did initially. And secondly, it didn't initially seem like he liked her that much. Like this really feels like a strategy for him to get to the end and win the $100,000. And I think I speak for America when I say we not voting for that. I think he needs something that's going to bring him back down to reality, and Bell Hooks is really good at doing that. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Huda. Now, Huda is the most difficult person on this entire cast, which isn't surprising because she's a Virgo. I have a video coming out all about the zodiac signs of the Love Island people where I talk more about that. But she's hard to watch because of the way that she's latched onto Jeremiah and the way that she polices him is so weird. This is a competition show. We're all supposed to be exploring, and she's like closet, like my man, my man, my man. And it's only been like a week and a half. So initially I was like, should I give her Normal People? Because I do actually think that like Normal People would be a good book recommendation for Huda. I do actually think it would be a good idea to recommend the book Normal People for Huda, because there's dynamics in that book of like people being in your lives and you being in relationship with people and it not necessarily being a good idea. Like you might circle around each other constantly and be in each other's lives constantly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're meant to be, right? But the one that I settled on for her is You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat. Now this is a book by a Palestinian American author. Huda is Palestinian from what I understand, and it's about a woman who is diagnosed with having love addiction. She's like growing up in Palestine when she's young. She's being reprimanded for being too loose. Her family does not accept her for being queer. What ends up happening with all of that internalized shame is that she develops this love addiction where she becomes obsessed with people around her, and she has to kind of like understand how her internal trauma is reflective of the trauma of her people, the Palestinian people, and also like the land that her people is from. So this is a queer book. I don't know if I don't think Huda's queer. She gives very straight. She is a Virgo though. But I think You Exist Too Much is a great recommendation for her, because I think it could really like hit on some of the things that are coming up under the surface of all of this like intense holding on to Jeremiah that she's doing, which is that she seems like she has a lot of shame around being a young mother, around having a child out of wedlock, not being with her child's father anymore, around her relationships with men. She seems like she really looks for validation in relationships with men seems like she really looks for validation in relationships with everyone, because she seems to like really want to force this narrative that her and the other girls are sisters, even though like any girl who's come in and shown even the vaguest interest in Jeremiah, she's called a bitch and a whore and said that she just feels like there's something dark-sided about them. There's like a gulf between who her ideal self is and who she actually is that's clear on camera in a way that I don't think she's aware about. And I think this book could really help her kind of like at least find something that's relatable to her, and start down that path. I think she needs therapy, honestly. And that's not shade, because I'm in therapy. Therapy is good for the soul. Therapy is good for the mind. Therapy is good for the people. But I think she needs to like go talk to the lady, because there's like a lot that's coming across on camera that I don't think she knows is coming across on camera. And one of my friends said like she's scared for when she leaves the villa, because it's going to be a rude awakening of how little people are fucking with her based off of how she's shown up on the show, myself included. I don't think I've been mean about her online. Maybe in my 3-person group chat where I go to be evil, gutter evil. But I don't think I've been mean about her online. I've just been like, you're insecure and we can tell. And also you're a Virgo, so I was never gonna like you. But I do think it's worrisome the way that people online have been reacting. Let's look at that. Her and Ace might honestly be soulmates. Those are my book recommendations for each of the people on the Love Island cast this year. I'm having a really fun time watching it. Like I said, I have a video about Love Island zodiac signs. I don't know which one is coming out first, but like I want to remind everyone that like this is an edited television program. Don't be mean to these people. Don't like go and send them hate. I don't think anybody who's watching my channel would do anything like that, honestly. The only person who I was inspired to cyberbully was Yulisa, and instead of cyberbullying her, I just blocked her, because I was like, this is just gonna impact me emotionally and energetically in a negative way, and I don't want to be a part of that. But yes, what books would you recommend to the characters on the show? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're reading anything good that's getting you out of your reading ruts right now, let me know. Right now I'm in the middle of Fingersmith and eating it up. I absolutely love it. But I'm looking for my next read, because I've been in a bit of a rut recently, because I've been very stressed out by my thesis that I have to turn in August. So if you could pray for me and wish me the absolute most luck that I get it done very, very quickly, I would appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Those 2 things really help me to find other people who might be interested in my channel. And I'm also trying to hit 10,000 subscribers very soon, and I'm at 8,000. I'm 80% of the way there, so you can help me get to 100. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much for watching this video again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.